What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, we have to talk about some very, very positive news. If you guys hadn't already seen it, Warner Bros. Games seemingly no longer for sale. Now, we've done this before. We talked about this before, but this time it's officially official. I guess as official as you can get based off of rumors, based off of sources, but it really seems like it's all over, and that's fantastic news, and we're going to talk about that in this video. Really quickly, though, if you guys have not yet checked out my second channel, I'll leave a link for it in the description below. It's called Podcast Now Plus. I'm going to be experimenting with some different kinds of videos over there over the next couple of weeks. I want to get your guys' opinions on them. So again, if you guys have not yet checked that out, it'll be in the description below. All right, so let's go through this. This comes from Bloomberg, who I believe were the same. This was the same sources, same news outlet, right, that originally said that it was for sale, okay? And it seems like it definitely was. I mean, I really do feel like we can trust these guys. And so they really just start. I like how they do this. They just start right out and they say AT&T has removed its Warner Bros. Video game business from the list of non-core assets up for sale, deciding it was too valuable to unload during its effort to pay down debt and streamline, according to people familiar with the situation. Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment, the gaming unit that is home to likes of Harry Potter Wizards Unite and Mortal Kombat 11, had attracted interest from several major companies and could have brought in $4 billion, as reported by CNBC in June. But AT&T balked given the business's growth potential, said the people, asking not to be identified because the information is private. And that's pretty much the main thing. So we knew Microsoft, it goes on to say that Microsoft, Take-Two, EA, Activision Blizzard, those were some of the people that were interested in it, but that this has been, again, this is pulled off. So AT&T had originally put Warner Bros. Games as this is something that we can kind of handle, or we are okay with losing. We're okay with selling it off and being fine with that. Remember, they were talking about if they could still do licenses, like they could maybe still get a percentage, but they've decided that it's just too valuable. Now, we've been saying that literally for months. It's kind of funny. I get it. They're businesses. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. There's probably so much going on that we can never imagine. But in all reality, this is what we've been saying for months. Basically, the two core principles. Number one, it is so valuable, and you're going to have so many things be coming out that why would you sell something like that, right? You're going to have Harry Potter, the new Harry Potter game, which, by the way, this says it in this article. They go on to say it. So we'll talk about that in a Harry Potter video actually tomorrow. But they talk about Harry Potter, obviously Gotham Knights and Rocksteady Suicide Squad games. So, and those are just, again, three examples. Like the Lego Star Wars game, that game is going to do well, okay? Monolith's game, whatever that, if it's the third Shadow of, blank Middle-earth game, that's going to do well. Okay, all of these games are going to do, are they going to be, it depends on where they put their standards, right? We've seen EA with like Battlefield, they've sold, 8, 9, 10, 11 million units, and EA says, oh, well, we were kind of expecting like 15, so that was kind of a disappointment. It's like, okay, well, you put your expectations in a different place you shouldn't have, but these games are going to do really well. And so you have all that. You have such a potential. And people, look at people's excitement for these games. And again, you think of Warner Bros. And you think of DC, but they have so many other games. And by the way, they publish and handle so many other kinds of games that they get percentages of as well. So it's not even their first party, the studios basically that they own. They have other things as well. So that's fantastic. And the second main core principle is, I think overall, it's just better off that it stays there. Look, I've talked about if it went to Microsoft. We've talked about if it was going to go to EA. I had a sneaking suspicion, and I was really going to run with it right to the very end. In fact, I still am. I think EA would have won. I really, really do believe that. I just feel like there's something there, not with Microsoft's unwillingness to spend, because I do think they would be willing to spend. I just, for whatever reason, feel like it would have been our worst nightmare. And ironically, I thought it would be our worst nightmare. It turned out into being our greatest dream, that they kept it. Because ultimately, again, like I said, we've talked about Microsoft. I think that has a lot of strengths. I've seen people say, I think they'd be really safe with Microsoft, in terms of how they treat everybody and, cancellations and stuff like that. I think it would be really good. I agree. I agree. Microsoft would have been, I think, a pretty safe overall area. It's just, again, the console, being exclusive basically is the only issue. And then EA, obviously, we talked about that. Activision, there's some problems there, although it wouldn't be all that bad, I would assume. And then Take-Two, that was the one that I said out of them I think would be the best one, although not one that was ideal. I had always said from the beginning, just keep them. The best case is to do what you're doing now, and honestly, maybe just doing things a little bit smarter. Again, we don't know the intricacies. We don't know the inside stuff, but and really, I was going to say, like, maybe you just keep a closer eye on some of these studios and you say, because ultimately you look at it, I mean, this has to be factually correct. Like Warner Bros. Montreal, again, we talked about them a lot, not making a game in 7 years, but having the studio open, paying all of their salaries, all of these things just for these assets for these games, and then to not produce anything. I mean, I don't know how the structure works, but there's no way Arkham Origins made enough to keep that studio afloat for 7 years after. You know what I mean? There's just absolutely no way. So in reality, they've lost money there. They've absolutely done it. Even you could argue maybe Rocksteady. Now, Arkham Knight, big seller. Same thing. I mean, Arkham Origins sold well too. But the Arkham games, very big games. But Rocksteady, they're not the biggest studios in the world, by the way. We're not talking like 5, 6, 7, 800 people. We're not talking thousands of people. They're like 200-300 size studios, but still, you pay all those guys and girls, for 5 years, and there's no game to do that. You're going to be losing money. Again, I don't know how all of it works and all. I assume that the game's sales not only make up for the years that they were doing, but also some of the years, for the future. That's just got to be how it works. But, maybe you keep a closer eye on it. But at the end of the day, I don't even think it's an issue with all that stuff. Honestly, I think they're very comfortable with what the gaming division has done. It's kind of even like, in a weird way, like Sony products in general, the gaming division is one of the only ones, I think a couple of years ago, it was the only one that was actually making money for them. Everything else, in terms of like TVs and cameras and all the other divisions that Sony does, all the different things that they sell, none of them were making money except for the gaming division. So, you look at it and you say, okay, well, there's obviously things we need to fix gaming-wise, and there's obviously things you can improve and change. But at the end of the day, it makes a lot of money. It's obviously, again, deemed too valuable to sell. So they not only know that it has made money, but that it will make money and probably will make more money, like even more going forward. So they're like, well, we can't. They can help us. The gaming stuff can help us. So at the end of the day, this is the best case scenario. I know people have called me, like the console, fanboy of Sony, or that I hate Microsoft, all this stuff. I mean, as I've said, it's just flat out not true. I think this is the best case scenario. I get it where they say, if it would have come out just on PlayStation, you would have celebrated it. I would have celebrated it for PlayStation, just like I would have celebrated it for Microsoft. Like if Xbox got this and it was exclusive, good for them. I mean, I think I'd have a whole video talking about how positive that's going to be for them. I think I should also do one to say how bad it is for everybody else, and I think I should and would have done the same thing for PlayStation. So, keeping all that in mind, I think this is just the best case scenario. Give as many people as possible, the opportunity to play these games. I think they're going to be very, very solid. And, if they fail, they fail. I don't really think we should be worried about if the games, come out, Gotham Knights comes out, there's all this, divide in the fan base, game doesn't sell so well, and they're like, all right, we've had enough of this garbage, let's sell. I mean, they're not going to do that. I think maybe the scariest thing is just that maybe they'll focus a little bit more on those studios. But again, judging by everything, they seem to have the mindset of gaming division is solid. Like, maybe it's not perfect, but it makes a lot of money and it's going to continue to, so why would we get rid of it? So best case scenario for everything, you can put, the foot on the brakes finally. Gotham Knights obviously is on all consoles. Suicide Squad is on all consoles. Harry Potter is on all consoles. Now, they always were going to be, but now we can say, okay, well, the future Warner Bros. Games are also going to be on all consoles. Okay, so a very, very positive 2 days in that department. Guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Are you excited by this? Are you disappointed? In some way, maybe you guys wanted it to be Microsoft exclusive. Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.